Today, I will be reading My Wife Won't Stop Screaming Update. Thursday night, 4 AM. I stayed in the chair next to Michael's crib to make sure he was safe. I was too anxious to sleep last night after I made my post, so I just sat and browsed Reddit for a while. It came on so gradually that I didn't notice it, but it was quiet. I mean really quiet. The type of quiet where it's like all of the air has been sucked out of the room and you can hear the blood pumping in your ears. The silence was soon broken. Tick, tick, tick. It was such a tiny sound, but against the silence of the house, it sounded like something was beating an anvil. I set my laptop down and tiptoed down the hall. The sound got louder. It was coming from my office. I slowly turned the knob and peeked inside. My clock was ticking. Why was my clock ticking? I should explain. My clock is broken. It hasn't worked over a year now. I think Jess was still pregnant when it broke. It's been stuck at 6:50 ever since. I suppose I should have taken it down and fixed it or replaced it, but heck, I'm just too lazy. But here it was, struggling and failing to move its second hand. Twitch, twitch, twitch. This morning, 7 AM. Suddenly it's daylight and I'm back in the chair next to Michael's crib. I know I didn't fall asleep. No freaking way. I got up and walked to my office. There was my clock. Still as stone. Stuck at 6:50 just the way it always is. I'm self-employed, so I have the luxury of taking the day off after getting any sleep. I went into the kitchen and started making some pancakes. Jeff shuffled in the kitchen, rubbing her eyes after an aroma of the pancakes made its way back into the bedroom. Seeing her standing there in her pajamas and a cloud of tangled red hair made me wonder because I didn't come to bed last night. I made up an excuse about working late and offered to spend a long weekend with her, just the two of us. This is a great opportunity to get Michael away from her. I suggested that we drop Michael off at her parents' house. They live a couple hours away, so they don't see the baby as often as my parents do. They would enjoy having him for a couple days. Today, 12 PM. Her parents were more than willing to watch the baby for the weekend. We packed up the car, loaded Michael into his car seat, and after a couple hours we made it to Jess's parents' house. They were so excited to see the baby. The whole O'Brien clan was there to see us. Her family hasn't really spent that much time with Michael, and they're a very tight-knit group. Jess is the only one who moved out of town. We chatted for a while, and I took a picture of Jess holding Michael, and got her family in the shot. Michael really was stuck out with like a sore thumb in his black hair. Every one of O'Brien's is a redhead. We said our goodbyes and got in the car. Nana was standing on the edge of the lawn holding Michael and waving his little hand bye-bye to us and pulled away from the driveway. Then she stopped. Her face went blank. In the rearview mirror I could see her jaw open and jerk violently open as it popped out of socket. Michael seemed completely oblivious. I turned to Jess to see if she saw it too. She had the same grotesque expression on her face and was leaning so close to me I could feel her breathe on my skin. I swear that sound that she made was so loud it caused mirrors to the car to vibrate and made the image in them blurry. The shriek didn't last long. It was soon replaced by car horns and swerved across a lane of ongoing traffic into a ditch. We didn't make it more than 100 yards from the house. The car has a warped motor among other things, and Jess's parents are gracious enough to offer that we stay with them until it gets fixed. All the mechanic would say is he'll try to work it out tomorrow. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this one. I think I may just wait until everyone is asleep, call a cab, and take Michael with me. I'm danged either way. Stay with her. After the logistics were squared away about who was staying where, and when our car was going to be fixed, Jess's mom started cooking a big meal. There were 8 of us in total at Nana's house, so dinner took quite a bit of preparation. Aunt Debbie would alternate between visiting with Jess and the baby and helping Nana cook dinner in the kitchen. Myself and the other men, Papa and Jess's uncles Kevin and Mike, were labeled in the way and were sent into the dining room to wait for the food to be ready. We ended up breaking out of a pack of cards and playing some Texas Hold'em, and I've had a few beers. We had played 8 or 10 hands when I heard someone in the kitchen stop cutting potatoes. Chop, chop, chop. It was the only silence, but it felt wrong somehow. It was my turn to better fold. I leaned left in the chair and took open the doorway of the kitchen. As the background of the kitchen slid into visibility, I saw Nana and Debbie. They were standing perfectly still, their mouths gaping open, staring right at me. as if they knew I was about to lean around the corner. The sound struck like a shockwave. As soon as I heard the dishonored screams, I fell back in my seat and looked across the table. Mike was staring intently at me. He looked angry. Kevin had his head down towards the cards, but was looking at me out of the corner of his eye. A bead of sweat rolled down his brow. Papa was leaning back in his chair, with his large forearms crossed and his eyes looking onto mine. The screams were deafening, but the other men were ignoring them. Somehow over the wails I noticed Papa's wrist watch ticking. Tick, tick, tick. Getting louder and louder. The ticking managed to drown out the shrieks. I felt it throbbing in my head now. "Do you fold them?" Mike asked, angrily. The screaming and ticking were gone. I threw my cards down and ran outside to get some air. I find myself in bed. My stomach feels full, so at some point I must have eaten. I'm so exhausted I don't know exactly how much sleep I've had in the past few days, but it's somewhere between 0 and hardly. The sheets are so comfortable. Jess sat Michael down in an old crib from where she was a baby. He's already sleeping. I don't know if it's something special about Nana's guest bed or just the fact that I'm so tired, but as soon as Jess gets to bed I fall asleep. Saturday night, 3 a.m. I had been in one of the deepest sleeps of my life when I was awoken by the screams. Jess is sitting up in bed. The lamp by her side is still on. This wasn't like before. She didn't have a blank stare this time. This time she was horrified, tears rolling down her cheeks and her mouth wide open but not disfigured. Michael was awake and crying in the crib across the room. Jess turns her head toward me and I can see that she's scared. I look down at the sheets are pulled back. Jess is covered in blood. I find myself carrying Jess down the hall. I don't know what exactly I was trying to do. I just felt I needed to get her somewhere. We passed by the dining room and for some reason Nana and Debbie are still awake, drinking tea. Debbie dropped her mug and both her and Nana screamed when they saw Jess. I find myself in the bedroom holding Michael. There's blood on my hands and I don't hear any screaming. Jess has mostly stayed in the bed the past few days even though her doctor told her she didn't have to. She was about 10 weeks along and she had a miscarriage. We had no idea she was pregnant. Michael plays on the bed with her. It seems to make her feel better and worse at the same time. Just put Michael down into the crib for a nap and looked up at me. The corners of her mouth pulled back slightly and tried a fake smile. And she went into the bedroom to take a nap.